Hello. Welcome to the live podcast of the Habits Doctors Pharmacy. This session is podcasted live on both my Facebook page as well as my YouTube channel. And in this live session, I want to challenge all of you with this question, which is it possible to celebrate with healthy foods? What do you think I mean by that? Right. What I'm saying is this, yeah? Is it possible to celebrate birthdays with healthy foods or celebrate our anniversaries of any kind, whether it's wedding anniversaries or special anniversaries, New Year, right? Whether it is a New Year's Eve party or Chinese New Year, Hari Raya, Christmas, is it possible? And is it possible? And why is it important? Why am I bothered with trying to encourage people to even try to learn to choose, try to learn to enjoy, and also try to learn to celebrate with healthy foods? Perhaps what I can do is to share with you a short clip, right, of a video that I have done recently and put on my YouTube channel. And actually, that video was done to talk about how to inculcate healthy eating habits amongst children. And I think it's relevant. Just watch it together with me for about 1 minute or so. Let me put it up. Let's start with the why. Why this is so important. And I want to share with you from my experience of having the privilege of conducting training and coaching programs for thousands of people to get them to change their eating habits to combat chronic diseases. I have lost count of the number of people who told me that they are unable or unwilling to change specific aspects of their eating habits that were obviously unhealthy, eating habits that were clearly contributing to their chronic medical conditions, because they don't think they can change, or worse, not willing to even contemplate or try to change or improve hardwired and ingrained eating habits that they have grown up with since young. Eating habits that they have gotten so used to over the years. Many of these people will say to me, Doctor, this is how my family had been eating all along for as long as I can remember. I have been eating this way since I was a kid. My parents, my siblings, they eat the same way too. So I don't think I can, and in fact, I am not sure I am even willing or want to change something that I have gotten so used to. So this is my biggest why I am so passionate to get parents to inculcate healthy eating habits in the children as best as they can from as early as possible. Because by the time their children become adults and start to develop common lifestyle related diseases such as diabetes, hypertension, and cardiovascular disease, it would have become very difficult, albeit not impossible, to change those unhealthy eating habits that they have developed from young, because those would have already become so ingrained and hardwired. That is why I would like you to consider make an effort to celebrate with healthy foods on special occasions whenever the family come together. Learn to celebrate with healthy foods. Birthdays, not just your children's birthdays, but everybody's birthdays, including yours. Christmas or other special occasions. Don't just celebrate with foods that you love, but to consciously choose to and learn to enjoy celebrating with foods that will also love you back in terms of healthfulness. I think that's enough, right? Let me just remove this. Okay, so that's one of the biggest why I am always trying to encourage people that to be able to prevent and combat chronic diseases, it is a lifelong journey and it starts from when we are young, and regardless of whether we are at this moment in time healthy or not, whether we have any of the chronic diseases, whether we are on any medications or not, or we have pre-diabetes or have diabetes or a combination of many different conditions, it is still the same. Our diet, our lifestyle, exercise, sleep, stress management play a very important part. Not just an important part. I always say that our lifestyle habits are the cornerstone in the management of prevention of, the control of such conditions whereby our lifestyle habits play a very important role, and these conditions can be modifiable with change and improvement to specific areas of our lifestyle habits, including and especially our eating habits. And that is why I'm so passionate to get people to do everything that they can, including learning to celebrate with healthy foods. Why do I want to do that? Because every time I coach people, whether they are my patients, whether they are people who I come into contact with during training programs, workshops, coaching programs that I conduct, is this. They'll tell me, doctor, Chinese New Year is coming. Cannot eat healthy. I can't change at this time. Maybe I'll come and see you. Maybe I'll come and attend the workshop or the program after Chinese New Year. So what happens after Chinese New Year? There will be birthdays. There'll be anniversaries. There'll be weddings. There'll be friends' farewell parties. There'll be school friends' anniversary reunions. There will always be another occasion to celebrate. It will repeat itself again and again. And in a year of 12 months, 365 days, there are no end to the number of days, number of occasions that's worth celebrating. And for most people, especially for those of us in Asia, and especially here in Singapore, we are so used to celebrating with foods. And when we talk about celebrating with foods, it is clearly and always invariably over foods that are not so healthy. And we know it. And we say it's okay, it's for special occasions. But those special occasions are what would make our preferences, our palate, what we like, what we don't, what we enjoy. That preference, that taste buds, that palate becomes hardwired. So let me give you an example. If we are so used to celebrating special occasions, birthdays, anniversaries, occasions that give us that warmth inside, the occasions that make us happy, occasions that make us, feel that communion with friends, family, relatives, special occasions, memories are made of those. And if we are celebrating that over a lot of sweet foods, consciously or subconsciously, that will make us associate joy, comfort, that warm feeling inside us with sweet foods. And when that person develop diabetes, and obviously cutting down the amount of sugar intake is a must do. It's not just a nice to do. It is not just possible to do. It is a must do. Right? Because the excessive amount of sugar added foods and snacks is the first step, regardless of whether the blood sugar is well controlled with medications or not. So what happens to such a person when this person is advised, counseled, challenged to cut down on sugar? I see that often in my clinic. I see that often in the programs I run. I will tell them, hey, it's obvious, right? You do not need any further education. You do not need any further workshops, attending courses. You know, the first step, the necessary step, is to look at, review, and cut down on your intake of sugar in snacks, in all the things that are so sugar filled. And you know what would be one of the often given replies that I get? Doctor, very, very difficult because I'm so used to it. And there's a birthday party coming up. There's Chinese New Year coming up. There's Christmas celebration coming up. And because we celebrate we celebrate with not just unhealthy food, we often celebrate with sugar. We always celebrate with foods, snacks with that are filled with sugar. So it become almost like a impossible thing. You have to choose between your health or heritage, culture, or about enjoying life. Do we need to make that choice? Is it so clear that the choice is between these two? Right? I think one of the problem is because you are so used to with a culture of eating unhealthy foods. The sugar example that I gave is just an example to illustrate what I mean. So imagine, from young when we celebrated our birthdays, we celebrated New Year, Christmas, Chinese New Year, Hari Raya, whatever special occasions that we celebrate together with our families and friends, we celebrate over healthy foods. Wow. Then then we wouldn't have this problem. And even if for somebody who do not have the genetic predisposition to developing diabetes, this person could still benefit from living a lifestyle, a dietary habit lifestyle of healthy foods. Low sugar is just one of the examples that I was giving. And this person would probably be better able to avoid having diabetes in his or her lifetime. Isn't that a blessing? Or another example, another illustration. A person who have grown up in a culture whereby special occasions are celebrated with healthy food, but this person still have a sweet tooth, and this person still enjoy having sweet food every now and then. But at a point in time whereby he or she develop a condition that make it imperative for he or she to cut down on sugar-filled foods, this person will have less of a challenge, less resistance to change, because there isn't that association with special occasions, comfort, celebrations over sweet foods and other unhealthy foods. So that is what I mean. That is why I am so passionate to encourage people. Why don't we start a new culture, a unique culture that is different, right? Go against the grain of what normally typically happens in the community, in our culture, in amongst friends and relatives. Why don't we start with our own family? Is it possible to celebrate with healthy foods? It's entirely possible. It's not about taking away the joys of celebration. It's about celebrating over foods, enjoying them the kind of foods that will love us back. Wow, isn't that a blessing? I know it's not going to be easy. For those of you who have just joined this podcast, this live podcast of the Habits Doctors Pharmacy, that's what we're talking about today. Is it possible to celebrate with healthy foods? And for those of you who are not familiar, let me just introduce myself again. I'm Dr. Chan. I'm a medical doctor from Singapore. My passion, and I call it my mission, is to awaken people to the power of their lifestyle habits in preventing, controlling, combating chronic diseases like diabetes, heart attack, stroke, and other chronic conditions that are very common, that are very sadly very common in all parts of the world, right? That it is not just powerful, our healthy habits are not just powerful in preventing and combating such conditions. They can be enjoyable. Different does not mean not enjoyable. It can be enjoyable, but it takes decision to change, right, to do that. So that's my passion. I focus a lot on coaching people, whether they're my patients, whether they are my coaches or participants in workshops I conduct. Is my passion is all about getting people to unlock the power of healthy habits, their diets, sleep, habits, stress management, exercise, right? And my goal is very simple. Through this podcast, through the various things that I do, whether on my Facebook, whether it is on my YouTube channel, it's about inspiring people to take action. Right? It's not information that we lack. It is action that we lack and need. And knowledge does not give us health, only action. So let's get back to the topic for this session. Is it possible? Is it possible to celebrate birthdays? Birthdays with healthy food. How about think about for yourself, right? Maybe you can type in the comment section below for yourself. Do you celebrate your birthdays with healthy foods? Are the foods that are on the table or the special restaurants and eateries that you go to celebrate your birthdays, are they healthy? They are neutral or unhealthy without having to define what that means. Yeah, healthy, just based on your own assessment, your own definition of healthy foods, not healthy foods, right? Do you celebrate your birthdays, or do you celebrate the birthdays of your friends, your family, your children, your parents, your colleagues, your best friends? Do you celebrate it over unhealthy food with healthy food? What do you celebrate? What kind of food do you go for? Right? Is it healthy? I think that's the question I'm going to ask. If it's not healthy at the moment, all these years, is it possible to change that? How about anniversaries, wedding anniversaries, and so many anniversaries that we celebrate? We are always looking for reasons. I wouldn't say excuses, but we always love a celebration. And what do we celebrate over? Food. No, food and food. Yeah. How about New Year? No, as we count down to the New Year, what do we celebrate with? Chinese New Year. Whether it's a reunion dinner. Is your reunion dinner healthy? That's a healthy reunion dinner spread. Does it mean that it is so pathetic, so 寒酸, it's like, "Aiyo, so 可怜 Chinese New Year must celebrate with rich food, no, must celebrate with food that's like, does not matter it is if it's unhealthy, only once a year, then the next year, then the next year. But it's not the frequency that matters. As I highlighted earlier, it is about the association of that emotion, that feeling. If Chinese New Year makes us happy, and that's how we ate together, the family as a child. And wow, every time we celebrate Chinese New Year, we want to 怀旧, right? We want to reminisce over how we traditionally celebrated it. So that was what we were brought up with. I'm now in my 50s. So all these years, all the celebrations that we had, when my late parents were around, what did they put on the Chinese New Year reunion dinner? Wow, right? It's not just the food, it is the feelings, the emotions, and therefore, I will not just have that kind of foods during Chinese New Year. I would look forward to having them. Every time I have them, it's like this inexplicable warm feeling, and it becomes something that we love, something that we turn to in times of comfort, in times of of the need to boost our morale, right? So how about you? What kind of food do you put on the table to celebrate Chinese New Year with, right? The reunion dinner, when guests come to visit, right? Needless to say, for I think majority, not 100%, and I'm sure there are people who are different, but the majority of all of us, right, we know that Chinese New Year is a time whereby you'll be eating a lot, and after that, a lot of people will say, "Oh, I need to lose weight after Chinese New Year." So, is it possible to change that, right? To be the change agent, to start a culture, starting with your own family culture of celebrating Chinese New Year with healthier foods, Hari Raya, so often the Hari Raya comes close to Chinese New Year in many years, depending on the calendar. And in the supermarkets, and then you will see the kind of goodies after the Chinese New Year goodies, then the Hari Raya goodies. And we all know we tend to celebrate all festivals, regardless of culture. I'm sure not just in Asia, but in all parts of the world, including Christmas. What kind of foods do we celebrate Christmas with? I hope you would give it some thought, that you will consider whether you're willing to try. Are you willing to try to celebrate special occasions, celebrate with healthy foods? Are you willing to start doing so the next time you have an occasion to celebrate? Tell me in the comments section below, whether you're on my Facebook, you're watching this from my Facebook or from my YouTube channel, right? Let me know. Are you willing to begin to try, just try to celebrate special occasions with healthy foods, one step at a time? No need to go one whole hog and piss everybody off, make everybody unhappy, right? But just make that commitment, to start turning the corner so that we would celebrate special occasions with healthy foods. Let me know in the comments section below. I would love to know. Right. After all that I've said, register with you, whether it resonates with you, whether you're willing to consider. Let me know. Let me know. So that's all I have for this live podcast of the Habits Doctors Pharmacy. I hope you have enjoyed this session. Do join me for other future live sessions. I started this Habits Doctors Pharmacy podcast because of my passion, because of what I want to do, which is to inspire you to think differently and start to do differently in terms of a lifestyle habits, so as to unlock this tremendous potential and turn that potential into power as medicine, habits as medicine, to prevent, to combat chronic diseases. If you need a little bit of nudge, you can go to www.habitskickstart.com. I have a simple quiz there. There's a 7-day habits change challenge. It's something simple, but yet I hope it will be thought-provoking to get you started on your journey. My favorite phrase is this: let habits be thy medicine. Let's unlock the power of habits as medicine, one habit, one dose at a time. Take care.